Hey tank mates, West with Divine Aquariums, bringing you update review. So that discus ended up having a hole in the head, so I had to take him out, treat him, put him back in. I treated him with Chem's Metroplex and Focus, and literally within like 5 days it was pretty much gone. I left him in there for one more treatment cycle. But this is the reason why. I ended up buying Fluval's Plant 3.0 light. The Finex was nice, but it wasn't bright enough. It wasn't reaching a bunch of different places. It was lighting up the whole tank. As you can see right here, I got a couple dark spots with this Fluval, but that's okay because the main reason why I got it is I needed light to reach the bottom. As you can see, I got some dying off here. Hopefully that comes back. This started to turn red. Of course, most plants won't turn red until they get enough light. That's one of the reasons why my wife wanted more than just green in the tank. I got the Altanthera Reneki right there plant. And then I moved my other plant from back, it was back here, wasn't getting enough light. Moved it up here. Yeah, I got a little bit of algae. I got to get that hair algae out. But one thing I noticed, and you probably can't, you can see it right there. With this light, it's so bright, and with the acrylic tank, I'm seeing a lot more features in the wood. So my golden nugget pleco is really starting to pop. That Anubias really took and attached itself to that piece of wood. Same thing with that Anubias right there. And then back here, that's where I moved one of the other plants back here because they don't need as much light. And as you can see, my ammonia is still good. pH level is still pretty okay. It's around 7. I got a little bit more of that hair algae, which means excess nutrients. You can see the babies, right? There's a couple right there. Yep. Bunch of babies. Some of these I'm gonna have to get rid of. Too many for the tank. That one right there, swimming by, one of my wife and daughter's favorites. There's another one that I like. He's got 3 stripes on one side. I can't find him. He's somewhere around here because it's on the other side. My wife likes that one too. You know, there we go. A couple more babies. There's more there. The last time I counted, I had like 17 of them. Some of them ended up going back here, right? But I fixed that because I got a piece of foam and I cut it to the weir so they could stop jumping back there. I know I have one back here on the pump side I gotta get because they're swimming back and forth. That's what they're doing. So I 3D printed that to hold my test tubes. But back on topic, the Fluval 3.0 Planet Light. Now I didn't get a piece of acrylic because I didn't like the cover not the cover, but it was the light and the cover that went for this hole right here. I didn't like the light. I like the LED stuff, the programmable stuff, so I just went to Lowe's and they had a scrap piece and they sold me this for $8 and I just notched it with my Dremel because I got a wave maker right there. And right now, I have it on a piece of 1x2 on both sides. I'm going to 3D print that one, a stand for it. Sea Clear right now is in the process of moving their warehouse and their distribution plant. If I remember correctly, that's what Fish Sinks Direct said. So there's not a lot of Sea Clear stuff on the market right now. They do make a better top for this. I'm going to get that top. So just keep that in mind. Here's one cool thing about this light. This light is putting off so much light and heat. As you can see, the humidity is building up. You can see it right here. But where the light is, it's clear. That's how much heat and light is building up on this, and it's drying out the humidity. That's a lot of light it puts out. Look at that. That is a lot of light that puts out. So, and you can see, there's a good spot. You can see, I think it has 236 LED lights. Notice I don't have the blues out as much because blue lights do cause blackbeard algae. So those are at about, I think about 7% right now. And the natural light, pure white, and bright white, I think it is, LEDs, those are at 100%. They're at 100% from 10 a.m. to about 4 p.m. And then I gradually, I'll show you it on my tablet. I'll show you how I did it. It's actually super simple. The light is awesome. You have to play with it to your tank. If this was a glass tank, it wouldn't be that much of a big deal. But I'm going to make risers. You can make risers with a 3D printer, so that's what I'm going to do. I just have this up right now because I don't want it melting this piece of acrylic right there. So once I get some time, let me show you why I can't do my 3D printer right now. Hold on. Okay, so on the other side of the room, the babies, well, the twins, if you have 5-year-olds at your house or have had 5-year-olds, you know they just wreck everything. This is my hospital tank right here. So, and here is my 3D printer, right? So my 3D printer is right in there. Let me see if I can turn the light on. Come on. Sometimes it works, sometimes I have a remote light. It doesn't work. Come on, maybe the battery's dead. Nope. Let me do it this way. There we go. So I have a 3D printer in here, and I do 3D print a lot of things. But when this thing starts shaking, I don't want that shaking because that's just a butcher top. And if you don't know, let's see, watch this. The remote works to turn it off, just not on. This is a butcher top. I just glued this down, but butcher tops are glued together piece by piece. So I don't want this thing shaking it apart and falling. This is an actual, I think, top fin, 29 gallon. And this was just a hospital tank right here. I just had the little light right there. Sweet little hospital tank, but I'm also curing that piece of wood right there. This top fin tank was cool except for the filter. Not a fan of the filter. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't do a good enough job. So putting something like a Aqua Clear 70 would probably be a better bet with that. So just a hospital tank. I'm about to drain it anyway, but other than that, and actually with it, I just put a filter, and I just took some media from my fish tank that's up and running that you just saw, my Sea Clear, stuck it in there so that way it's already cycled, and just put a plant in there so you can hide. But yeah, that was my hospital tank right there. And I'm gonna drain it. So, you know, once I get that done, I'll make those risers. Once I get this tank drained, I'll be able to make those risers. So that's about it for this update. You know, there's the light, and then you know what? Let me show you. Let me do this. Let me show you the tank, not the tank, but the app and how it works. Okay, so here's my app. It's actually super easy to use. There's the Fluval app on the bottom. It's loading up, and then you can change the name. It's going to do some weird name, but I just did it. This tank here, you can see it's connecting, and here is in the pro setting. This is where you can go to set everything. There's your manual. You can change whatever you want. You can turn on whatever light you want, and then you go into pro is where you go to set your lighting systems. Auto is just going to automatically do it. You can see the parameters there. And then you go into Pro, and then you touch Edit down at the bottom, second from the last, and then you're going to see all these little time clocks. You can have up to 10, and when you do that, you can set each one to the color that you want. And you can see I'm going through that. So I have 100% for cool white, pure white, and warm white from basically noon to about 5 o'clock, and then it starts to ramp down. You can see right there, it's starting to ramp down. But the big thing is the first clock and the last clock all have to be 0 if you want it completely off. Right? So if I do, let's say I just want pure moonlight, which is blue, I can slide the blue over here in a second. I start to do that, or I'm doing pink right there. So you can see where it only comes on from that set time to the other set time, the end time to start time. So very simple. So there it is. Not too hard. You just hit save.